A dazzling display of the northern lights might be visible across the northern U.S. tonight, including for us here in the Seattle area. The northern lights are created by storms like no other here on Earth.
It's because the storm is actually in space. Right now joining us is Logan Johnson from the National Weather Service and National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration. Logan, thanks for being here. Let's get right to the questions. Very simply, what causes the aurora?
Well, when we see the aurora, what's actually going on, as you mentioned, it's caused by the sun. The sun's ejecting a lot of what we call charged particles, and those are racing towards the Earth. And as they reach the Earth's atmosphere, they interact with gas in the Earth's atmosphere, and they produce the different colors that our eyes see as the aurora.
All right, Logan, it's Aaron Mayovsky here in the Fox Weather team. Lisa and I are here, and we've been tracking it. We get so many viewer emails and comments like, how can we see it? When can we see it? We know we have to look up to the north. But talk about the spectrum of those colors and why it feels like we've been seeing it so much more often lately.
Sure. This has been a very active month for the sun. It was just about 8 or 9 days ago that we saw aurora in the region from another solar storm. So this storm is actually quite a bit stronger than that storm that we saw earlier this month. So we're going to have a better shot at seeing an aurora. The storm's going to kind of peak here this evening across our region, basically from about 9 p.m. through midnight. Two things with that is there's still going to be a little bit of sun in the sky, which might interfere with it. So maybe closer to midnight might be a better time to see it. The other thing is we have some clouds moving up this way, so that might also get in the way. So those are two of the things that are kind of working against us to see the aurora, despite the strong storm that we have going on.
So, Logan, we were just saying that these storms are happening in space. So why do geomagnetic storms happen in the first place, and how are they categorized in strength?
Yeah, geomagnetic storms are kind of constantly occurring. There's a lot of chemical reactions going on the sun's surface, a lot of charged particles. Every once in a while something happens which is called a coronal mass ejection, which is kind of a big word to describe a very large amount of charged particles that leave the sun all at once. That just happened a couple of days ago. Two of them actually did, and those two are sort of interacting and sending a lot more particles towards the Earth than we normally see. So those are kind of categorized levels 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The storm that we're seeing here is going to be what's called a level 3 storm, which is the strongest we've had since April of this year.
And Logan, you said the last time we saw the Aurora Borealis was about 8, 9 days ago. How does this night compare to that night? You said it's stronger. What does that mean?
So when it's stronger, that typically means that we're going to see the aurora farther south from the North Pole. So with a stronger storm, we have a much better chance of seeing the aurora simply because there's a lot more energy going into the atmosphere. So this is going to have a better chance at seeing the aurora. It just might be the weather conditions and maybe the time of day that kind of interfere with our seeing the aurora. However, if you go north of Seattle, you'll probably have a better chance as you get away from the city lights.
And curious over here, so do these geomagnetic storms impact anything other than creating those beautiful dancing lights that we're used to seeing?
Yeah, they definitely can. With a level 3 storm, you don't really see a lot of disruptions. However, if you got a level 4 or even a level 5 storm, you'd start to see things like GPS might not be working, that it would interfere with radio transmissions or other types of communications. So that could be pretty significant. So fortunately, we're not seeing anything that's quite to that level. But however, over various times in the past, we have seen storms that strong impacting the Earth.